This is KGW News at 11.
Welcome to KGW News at 11. We start tonight with a live look from our Rose City Skycam. Look at those lights on the water. Beautiful Sunday night, but wow. Earlier today, the city saw temperatures in the triple digits. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christine Pedawanich, meteorologist Joe Ranieri joining me here in studio. And Joe, wow, fourth time that we've seen temps in the 100s, I think.
We could have got very close to record temperatures. The record is 104. We topped out at 100 degrees. A few spots got to 101. But again, we're going to be seeing one more hot day and then things will start to cool off. And speaking of cooling off, if you're hoping to see much of a cool down heading into the overnight hours, unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing much of that. We're looking at temperatures throughout much of the city right now, about 80 degrees. And as we head into the early morning hours tomorrow, we'll cool off a little bit, but not by much. So if you hoping to open up the windows to usher in a little bit of some cool air, you're going to be looking at overnight lows in the upper 60s throughout much of the metro area. That's been kind of what we've been seeing with our heat waves the last couple times this summer. We don't get a chance to cool off, and we see some of that excessive heat throughout the afternoon. But temperatures right now are sitting at 83 at the Portland International Airport. It's the low 70s down in King City and Sherwood. Hillsborough, you're seeing a temperature this hour of 74 degrees. A little bit cooler on the east side of the state. Pendleton 70, Baker City, you're seeing a temperature of 58 degrees, and along the Oregon coast, temperatures right now in the low 50s. So tomorrow is the last day of the heat. I'm forecasting temperatures anywhere from the mid to the upper 90s. You can see up and down the I-5 corridor early tomorrow morning, right around sunrise, we'll see temperatures close to 70. By 10:15, 10:30, we'll be getting into the mid to the upper 70s. And again, daytime highs by the later part of the afternoon could be approaching the mid 90s in a few spots. I don't think we go above 97, 98. I am forecasting a high tomorrow of 96 degrees. And then by Tuesday, we'll be seeing some cooler conditions. But here's a look at some of the numbers we've seen with our past heat waves. Of course, that warm stretch started back in the end of June, 3 days with temperatures 90 or above. And the longest stretch so far, which is a record, we saw 7 days with temperatures 95 or above. And then yesterday was at 93, today 100. Tomorrow, anywhere from 90 to 95. And Christine, I am expecting to see some cooler conditions heading into Tuesday, but the fire danger is going to be pretty high, especially throughout the Oregon Cascades. I'll talk more about that and why coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah, good to remember. Thank you, Joe. To escape the heat, many people took advantage of cooling centers while others opted for splash pads. Our Christelle Kumwe caught up with some of our viewers as they tried to beat the heat.
We saw temperatures hit triple digits again across the Portland metro area Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it's very hot.
Terrible.
I don't like it.
The extreme heat prompted Multnomah County and the city of Portland to open 2 daytime cooling spaces. One of them was at the Sunrise Center on East Burnside in partnership with nonprofit Cultivate Initiatives.
It's a day shelter due to the weather this time, but it's really just a safe, cool place for people to be.
Matthew McCall with the nonprofit says they also offered water, snacks, and a misting station for guests.
Even though it's not quite as excessively hot as it was during the heat dome last year, there's still a ton of people, whether they're housed or unhoused, who need a safe place to be with air conditioning and people around them.
Angie and Ruben are a couple, and both live on the streets. They would have been outside in the extreme heat if it wasn't for the cooling center.
I'm very grateful, because there's not a lot of places that will open their doors to a lot of people.
For the things that we need the most, that our bodies use the most, and which is really important. So we're very grateful, like I said, for that. They're the true heroes.
Just in the park, trying to stay cool.
Families also found refuge at the Gresham Splash Pad Sunday afternoon. Mom Candace was on a mission.
Find some water.
When she brought her family here to beat the heat.
Yeah, I'm pretty used to it now. It's not too bad. As long as we have AC at home, then we're good.
But for those who don't have air conditioning, some county libraries are also operating as cooling centers to make sure people are safe as temperatures rise to dangerous levels.
We really appreciate everything that they do for us here. It's really necessary.
If you need a place to escape the heat, you can call 211 for more information. We also have information about cooling centers and libraries on our website at kgw.com. Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
New tonight, police are investigating a drive-by shooting in Gresham. This is a map of where it happened in the area of North Gresham. At this point, we really don't have a whole lot of information, but what we do know is police arrived just before 9:45 p.m. One person was hurt. Their injuries are unclear, but they should be okay. The Gresham Police Department has not released information about the suspect. Now to some new video of a car chase in Washington County. It happened overnight, and it turns out the car was reported stolen. Investigators say around 1 a.m. on Saturday, deputies tried to make a traffic stop near Southwest 185th Avenue and Southwest Tualatin Valley Highway in Aloha. Deputies say the person was driving recklessly, almost hit two other cars, and then the driver ended up apparently speeding off. Deputies chased him, and during that chase, they say the driver crashed into a fence, got out of the car, and tried to run. You can see a little bit of an altercation there right in the middle of the road. Deputies, as you see there, caught him and found 3 more people in the car. Right now, the driver is in the Washington County Jail. And traffic on I-84 was backed up overnight after a car hit a pedestrian along the eastbound lanes of the freeway. The person died at the scene. This all happened just after 1 a.m. near the exit for 82nd Avenue. Investigators are working to figure out why the person was on the freeway in the first place. The driver of the car stayed at the scene. The number of Portland traffic deaths hit a 3-decade high last year at 63, with pedestrians accounting for 27 of those deaths.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Very emotional.
A Gresham man's antique pickup truck was stolen overnight. It is the second time that it's been taken right out of his driveway. Police found it this morning, but as Blair Best reports, the pickup is more than just an old truck.
From its paint job to the make.
Had it all my adult life.
To some, this 1974 Datsun pickup is just a regular old truck. But to Jesse Christensen, it's much more.
It's my family, because it belonged to my dad.
Every scratch, every dent tells the story of the years Jesse and his father spent in the truck working as a team.
It's my dad. We built houses with this.
I remember my dad coming to pick up me and my friends from the park after playing in the water. And, we rode in the back of the truck.
But 3 years ago, the story of this beloved truck took a turn.
It got stolen out here 3 years ago.
Police found it about a month later at a nearby homeless camp, but it was seriously damaged.
Oh, they tore the hood off of it. They painted it all black, like having my dad ran over by it.
Jesse spent the past 3 years repairing it.
I just now got everything put back into where I could start it and drive it.
But last night, the unthinkable happened.
Took it again.
He noticed it missing at 6 this morning. This time, his daughter knew just what to do.
We had to act fast. So I got up, grabbed my laptop, and I started looking up how do we report it.
A few hours later, police found it parked outside a local hospital in the area.
He asked me if I said goodbye to my truck yet. And I said, yeah, pretty much. And he goes, well, I'm standing right next to it. I lost it.
I had a good cathartic cry when we found it. We both did.
Call it fate or good luck. But this old truck somehow manages to keep making its way back home.
Something else out there, heck, even my grandfather was probably helping. You may see a fun little thing to take on a joyride, but this is family. It's very important to us.
Thankfully, this time his truck wasn't damaged, but about $500 worth of his tools were stolen from the back. This morning, he was installing a steering wheel lock and other safety measures in hopes of it never being stolen again. Blair Best, KGW News.
Starting next year, psilocybin, or magic mushrooms, will be legal in Oregon. In the meantime, health leaders and industry experts are working to finalize the rules around how it's produced and administered. Here are the rules so far. You'll need to be at least 21 years old to take it. You won't need a prescription or a referral from a doctor, but you can't buy it. Instead, a licensed facilitator will administer the drug after an assessment.
Most of the action is internal, and that can be different for different folks because we come to this experience with our own stuff. So that's kind of the neat thing about psilocybin and the experience of psilocybin as a therapeutic agent kind of goes where it needs to go.
So far, counties are split on the issue. For example, commissioners in Clackamas County voted unanimously to put a measure on the ballot this November that would temporarily ban psilocybin until the state finalizes regulations. But meantime, in Washington County, commissioners plan to move forward with the program. Overnight, the U.S. Senate passed the Inflation Reduction Act. The Senate vote ended in a tie, which Vice President Harris later broke. The legislation calls for $430 billion in new spending, along with raising more than $740 billion in new revenue. And it touches on a lot of issues, from combating climate change to healthcare issues and deficit reduction. Now, the bill will go to the House, which is expected to vote on Friday. Senate Democrats have called the Senate Inflation Act historic. In fact, Senator Ron Wyden shared his reaction on Twitter, calling the Senate's passing of the legislation huge. This is a big victory for Wyden. He helped author legislation that's in the Inflation Act. Wyden is expected to host a press conference on Monday.